Glenda and Lonny Satterly with the Joan Kelly Group at Keller Williams Realty. We are in Latitude, Margaritaville today in South Carolina. We are standing in the place that you will understand how the build takes place with Mentos. Dom Hayes is behind us. He is a sales representative for the Mentos Latitude Margaritaville community, and he's going to take us through some of the awesome building specs and how they do things here.
It's a little bit about what I'm going to show you guys today, highlight some of the major things. Obviously there's a lot of touch points in here as we walk around. You might have some more questions after the video. Feel free to reach out to Lonny or Glenda. They'll get the answers that you guys have if you have more questions. I'll just start by panning onto this wall here. Shows you the configuration of how we construct the window. Anybody that has construction experience is familiar with this, but essentially you got one length window or one length wood sheathing behind the window. That's important because we don't use a double length sheathing where you have kind of a slit in the middle. So that part's eliminated. Flushing around the window is incremental for the insulation aspect of the windows. We include that there. All of our siding, which is shown below, is going to be hardy plank exterior, and they show you the painting and where they go, how it gets painted. This is going to be the exterior home team pest defense TAEX pest control system. TAEX is basically a wiring that runs through the exterior of the home that the exterminator can actually walk up to, attach a nozzle and push a button, and will blow the material inside of the walls as to keep out from inside of your house and exterminate the bugs through the walls inside of the home. So just a good example kind of what you can expect here. The biggest, I would say the biggest advantage that we have over some of the other production builders that are in the area is that we use 2x6s on our exterior siding. As also an important component for the quality and the integrity of the structure as much as the insulation factor. We're able to go above and beyond what code calls for insulation, which gives you a tighter house and a more energy efficient home as you guys are living in it, which means you're saving on energy bills. We do use rolled or batt insulation in our walls, and over the top of the ceiling is blown insulation. This is the same configuration as what you see here, flipped to the inside, so you can see water lines addressed. This cable tube right here, this is called a quick tie system. This is going to be another incremental part for the structure of the house. This gets wired down through the foundation, attached with a concrete adhesive, and it gets strapped and bolted down to the top plate. And when it's bolted down, it actively applies pressure to the top of the roof. It's built to withstand Category 3 winds in a hurricane event or a high wind event. So this is something that we also include as a standard feature. If you are looking at one of our villas or cottage homes, this is unique. We're showing you the actual center wall, what's going to be between the cottage homes and the villa homes. You have 2x4 on the interior here with insulation on both sides, and then a firewall. They do include what we call maybe about a quarter or a half of an inch air gap in between. That acts as a noise reductor. We call that the party wall. So if your neighbor's having a party, you're not supposed to hear them, essentially.
But you're usually there anyway, right?
Yeah, I was going to say. Sometimes in Margaritaville, things happen there. But they highlight the 3/4 of an inch airspace here. And then an example of the blown insulation that will rest on your ceiling. Important to note, if you do plan to increase your storage upstairs or in your attic space, don't tamp down the blown insulation. That will reduce the effectiveness of the blown insulation. One of my favorite aspects of the home is the radiant barrier sheathing. We include the radiant barriers as a standard aspect of all of our homes, and that gets attached to basically the undermount of the roof, and so it's designed to repel heat. Statistically speaking, keeps out 97% of radiant heat. I worked for another builder where that was a huge upgrade that you'd have to pay sometimes in the thousands of dollars range to have that. We include that as a standard to also help keep your house cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Some of the other stuff both give you a look inside the attic. Actually can show you the radiant barrier sheathing, can show you some of the blown insulation and what that looks like. Here obviously is a sample of what the roof goes through in its progress to become completed. One of the unique factors about our shingles is that they come included with a Scotch Guard product. Scotch Guard means it's essentially a man-made product designed to repel algae and mold growth over time.
And that's really important in a wet and moist environment in South Carolina.
Yeah, and especially goes to the testament of a builder that really cares what the community looks like 15, 20, 25 years from now. You don't find this often, so this is unique. Tankless water heaters. We are a gas-powered community. So you'll have gas heat. You'll also have a gas-powered tankless water heater as standard. The great thing about these, obviously, they get installed in the exterior of your home. So you do not have a tank that's located on the interior at risk of spilling or flooding. Also, extremely energy efficient. They're not keeping an entire tank of water hot at the same time. So you have something that's only heating up water when you use it, and you can run hot water forever. I feel like they're not a salesperson, but that's exactly right. You can run hot water for a year. You'll never run out. Anybody that's had it can attest to that. So really nice product that we include as standard again. And some other miscellaneous, they're showing you the home run location built inside the home here. This is where anything that's a low voltage, so your cable, your internet, if you had security system or audio, would be wired inside of your home, not in the garage as shown here, but actually in the home, usually in the laundry room area, so you can access separate from the electrical breaker. And the last note here, or the last sample essentially, is the garage. Wind-resistant garage doors are extremely necessary in this area. We include that as a standard. Garage door opener is also included. I know that's very important, but everybody gets at least 2-car garage. And to give you an idea on the interior of the garage. So the last thing is this center experiment here showing you what's underneath your foundation. This red tape, I want to highlight that essentially anytime that we put down underground plumbing and we go to fill it with dirt before we go ahead and put rebar down and concrete it, is the sheet of paper that basically keeps all the weeds, growth, water, anything that's under the soil underneath it, and then we tape it. That's the biggest difference here. A lot of builders do that, but there's no emphasis on the taping itself. We make sure that what's underground stays underground, so you don't have anything coming through cracks over time. Again, looking to the integrity of the build, not just today or next year, but 10, 15, 20 years from now. So long story short, that's the basics. We can talk for hours about energy efficiency. We include LED lighting on all of our homes. That's a standard factor here. The 2x6 construction I talked about, which gives you a higher insulation rating, that's going to help your energy bills. Consistently, our homes are testing somewhere in the mid-60s on the HERS rating score, if you're familiar with that. That's an extremely tight home. It's almost as tight as Energy Star. It's not Energy Star per se, but very good in terms of energy efficiency and what you guys are saving as homeowners here. So again, I'm Dominic, and thank you for watching.